Welcome back to the channel. This is Wasabi. Today we're following HeavyTone in his Type-64 and he's trying to complete the LT-15 mission for the Stug IV. So the first thing he's done is tell the team where he's going. That will allow his team to try and plan where to be to try and shoot the targets that he might spot from that spot. So he's on the Malinovka Malinovka map, which is one of the classic maps for spotting, so he's got a good chance of completion. But let's have a look at the conditions first. So the first one is to do a total of 3,000 damage based on what you do and also what your team does from the spotting that you do. To get honours, you need to damage 4 enemy vehicles by your spotting and also win the battle, so we'll see how he goes. So first up, he's spotted most of the tanks, although the 250-2 is probably done, the ones right on the west side. So currently spotting the VK-3601, and they've just done so far just a total of 234 to the M4 that was spotted. So it's keeping them lit. Sometimes they go out. If they stop, their camo basically increases, so that distance, it's likely that they'll go in and out of vision. But the basically the maximum view range, which if you have a look at the mini map, which I'll just enlarge actually just to make it a bit more obvious, the outer line is the maximum draw range. So as long as the tank is lit within that range, then your tanks can basically hit it, within their circle. So that's the main thing he's doing. So you can see that his vision range is that inner circle there with the light blue line. So that gives him a better chance of penetrating the camo if they've got poor camo, and also to some extent behind bushes, depending on how close to the bush they are. So the Type-64 is the Chinese tier 6 light tank, premium tank. It's got a good reputation for vision. He's also got it equipped, as you can see, with camo net and binoculars to give him the maximum view range possible. So he's racked up already 1,600 spotting damage. He hasn't done any damage of his own. If he shoots where he is now, it's a good chance that he's going to get spotted. So basically that's why he's not shooting at this point. So we'll just see, again, with these spotting points, it relies on your team backing you up and taking advantage of your spotting to basically earn the damage. So there's an AC4 EXP, and he's not necessarily got great vision. He's a tier 6, but he doesn't have great vision necessarily. He's on the move, so he wouldn't have binocs. So Tone gets the hit into that. And there's SU-100 taking some hits, resisting so far in terms of the armor, but Tone managed to get a shot in on him as well. So he's now up to a total of 1,971. So he's 2/3 of the way there, which is a good start. He's already met the conditions of 4 tanks being damaged. So that's the that condition met as well, and the only next condition obviously is to win the battle. So that's really what is in the balance at the moment. So early days yet, they've got a good hit point advantage, but they're only 1 tank up. Battle going on the hill between the heavy tanks, of course, which he can't influence. But what his job is trying to do is to basically make it obvious when the enemy are approaching on the left flank. And there goes an AMD 178, which was just basically advancing across the front. Just really stupid thing to do as a light tank, unless you know that there's nothing there and you're not going to be lit. But in that case, that was just basically throwing away a light tank. So that gets them another advantage. And Tone is basically doing the right thing here, moving up from bush to bush, maintaining his cover, and seeing whether he can spot. Now he's in a bit of a depression here, so that doesn't give him any visibility across the field. And of course with the cliff next to him, it doesn't really give him any vision across the paddock there. So he just wants to keep moving up and keeping bushes between him. Now the M4A3E2 was that he did fire a shot, but was killed by another player. Again, luckily he wasn't hit. That tank was relatively close, but given the camouflage that Tone had, even with the shooting and the number of bushes he had, it wouldn't have exposed him, as you could see. So he's been firing standard ammunition, which is good. It's going to keep his cost down, and he's just keeping moving up, doing the right thing here, bush at a time, or a couple of bushes at a time, just managing the risk of being spotted. And there is a T-34 87, just right on the edge of the vision there, so really not a target that he can influence. But there's a Hellcat still unspotted near him, or has been spotted earlier, but is behind. We don't know whether he's behind that rock or concealed within a bush with his own binocs. So basically he's taking small risks at a time. Now this is probably the biggest risk that he's taken, to move right up to this rock, and if that's there, he'll proxy spot the Hellcat, but that would also light him up and expose him to perhaps where that VK36 was. But as he's got to that bush, the Hellcat's no longer there, so he's obviously cleared off into another place. Their team overall is 4 tanks up, so a good chance to win. But again, not a guarantee on this map, depending on how they come off the hill. Tanks that are in the forest where that VK3601 is can basically dominate. So what Tone's doing here is going to a spot where Artie typically is, and people hiding in the forest will be around this area. So he's lit up the M44, and he's hoping that his Artie will take advantage of that. He wasn't spotted, doesn't appear, unless he doesn't have sixth sense. He's just taken a big hit from the M44, puts a shot in, ducks out of the way, and the M44 gets a bit of ramming damage, which kills him. But Tone's taken a bit of damage, but he survived, which is good. He's also pretty much out of sight of anyone else. The Hellcat's been lit up there, so he's just waiting for his to repair, but he's still got a damaged gun and a damaged gunner, so he's not really going to be much influence on there. He's only 500 points off, actually, and he's picking up damage as he goes. The LKV has lit him up, and he dies. Now it looks like he's missing out, but he's collecting damage that was lit up as he died. So you've got 10 seconds of life on a target that's been lit, and he's collecting damage as he goes. And that's the end of the battle, and we'll see whether he actually met his target. So it was a victory for HeavyTone. He also picked up the patrol duty badge for having at least 6 enemy tanks damaged with his spotting. Got a second class honours for that. Type-64 is a well-played tank these days, so the ratings are a bit higher for that tank. See, he managed to get 3rd place in the score on his side. He did 547 damage of his own, and he's got a total of 863 experience for that. The spotting he did was 2,509, so if you add that to the 547 he did, he just exceeds the 3,000. So I know HeavyTone was really sweating on the outcome of that, but well done, HT, for completing that mission for the light tanks. So congratulations. So anyone, thanks for watching, and leave your comments below.